साथ है, तू मेरे साथ है, तू मेरे साथ है, तू मेरे साथ है.
And needless to say, I'm really blessed to be here and meet all of you. And I would like to take you back to that time when we first heard about Guruji. And that was in 1995. कि कोई बाबा आया है क्योर करता है. So it was very surprising. How can anybody just cure just like that and he's not even taking a penny? तो ये कैसे हो रहा है? ये कौन है? My son was just about 7 years at that time, and because his throat would get affected, every month he would be having fever, and it was not a pleasant sight to see. As parents, we were very worried. My own legs used to pain a lot from hip to toes, and I had tried everything possible, all kinds of ilaj, and nothing would work. So here I was thinking at the back of my mind that I'm hearing stories, so-called stories I used to say at that time, and not anymore, because those are not stories. Those are life's experiences of people who have gone through agonizing times, and Guruji has taken them out of it. So those are the blessings which people have received, which they narrate today. This was a time when there was no sthapna of Bada Mandir, and Guruji had come to Delhi from his Dera in Jalandhar. And over there he was blessing people where he had taken place. And I was amazed to hear that heart troubles and cancers and brain tumors were getting cured. It was very surprising. Well, when we went, Guruji just said that I'm going somewhere. There were about 40 cars behind me. Put your car behind me and come. So he took us to a place where it was somebody's drawing dining. Everybody was sitting on the floor, and I saw that there are sofas around, but nobody was sitting on them. And I just felt I could not sit on the floor, so I went and stood in a corner. The door opened and he came straight to me from his room. And he motioned me to stand. I don't know when, I might have just sat down. So he says thus in Punjabi, tell me. I said, Ji, mera munda, my son. So he says, Udi chhad, forget about him. Tell me about yourself. So I just said, my legs pain a lot. He said, you were sitting here since such a long time, did they pain? I realized there was no pain, and I don't know when I would have sat down. He said, from now on, they never will. They never have, from 1995 to 2024. And it was not a simple leg pain, so as to say. It was an excruciating pain for which I had tried everything from injections to homeopathic, allopathic, you name it, and I had done it. But it never used to go. And it would just not come in the results as to what it was. Having received that blessing, I also got another one. He said, you have a school. I said, no, you are mistaken. My mother is the one who runs the school. I don't have any school. So he says, no, it is yours. I have seen it. And he said, school khulega, bahut vadiya chalega. Main vekh leta te tu vekhi. And then once he had asked me to narrate this to somebody else at a later date. And I was laughing, because I had no intentions of opening it, even though I had the qualifications. I was busy bringing up my kids. So while I was laughing, he just came back into the room and he said, Guruan di gal, patthar di lakeer hundi hai. School khulega, bahut vadiya chalega. Main vekh leta hai, te tu vekhi. Now in Guruji's terminology, vadiya is not to be equated just with a monetary gain. It is something completely different, which I realized when I opened my first school way back in the 90s, and then again another one. And then I was told that after your daughter gets married, you open one in Gurgaon, which I have, and by Guruji's grace, it is doing as he wills. There were so many other blessings. He just went on saying one thing after the other, and it was very, very strange for me to hear this from somebody who I did not even know. He said certain things which only I knew, and he also said what I was supposed to do in life, but finally it just did not materialize. He said, "Tu IAS karna si, kyun nahi kita?" So I just smiled at him. I said, "Gee, I got married." So then of course life took a different course, and willingly. So Guruji knew even the smallest of things which would have transpired in my life. And when he would just say it in passing, I would say that yes, those were the few things which made me believe in him. Because there are saints who would know certain things, you know, but Guruji knew everything. One was transparent in front of him. My father was told that he has got lymphoma, cancer of the lymph glands. And my mother ran helter-skelter with the reports. We came to know Guruji has come to town, but he's in hiding because there was no sabha at that time. Well, we got permission, went, sat in front of him, both my husband and we couldn't say anything to him. We came out and we just told each other, "इतने बड़े महापुरुष को हम क्या बताने आए हैं? इनको तो पहले से ही पता होगा." Well, a few days passed and he called me up and he says, "I'm going somewhere to bless someone's house. So you both must reach there." I went there and I was in no mood at all to socialize because everybody was laughing and joking, rightfully so, because after all Guruji aaye the unke ghar. So I just went and sat right at the back. He motioned me to come and sit right next to him, which I did. And after that he did not talk to me. And I was wondering, why has he called me? Hospital mein duties lagti hain. यहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं हम? Suddenly he looks at me and he says, "तेरे प्यो दा कैंसर ठीक कर देता है मैं." I didn't even take out those words. Well, the reports came negative finally. And my mother thought that maybe the doctors had misdiagnosed and they would have made a mistake there. So she stated the very same. When we went next to Guruji in Jalandhar, Guruji just looks at me and he says, "कोई coincidence नहीं होता, मेरी पूरी शक्ति लगती है, कह दें अपनी मानो." So he knew exactly what had transpired in her mind. He knew everything, what one was thinking. When he blessed my son, again going back to that time when we first were blessed by him, he just said, "Hun munde dadas." So I just told him gala kharab rehta hai. I didn't give him any details. So he said, "सोने का ओम पहना दे और घर में चावल खाना और बनाना बंद कर दो." So I just thought, इतने छोटे से बच्चे को सोने का ओम, सोने की चेन में. He just smiled at me and he says, "पीले तागे विच बना दें फिर?" So I said, he can read my mind. That much I knew. He can read my mind. Then I just whispered about the rice. I said, "जी joint family है." He said, "तू, तेरा घरवाला, तेरे दोनों बच्चे सारी उम्र ना चावल खाएंगे ना बरतेंगे." And later we were told कि जब आपके सामने प्रसाद आता है, उसको आप पदार्थ की नज़र से नहीं देखेंगे कि ये दाल है या चावल है या कुछ है. आप इसको सिर्फ प्रसाद की नज़र से देखेंगे और ये ग्रहण कर जाएंगे. So then whenever rice came in the prasad, it was just prasad for us. After that, Guruji went back to Jalandhar and we wanted to thank him. So we went behind him and we were given permission to come in. And there Guruji just gave us a few lessons. He said, "Je zindagi da koda mainu deo, main bilkul siddha haakanga." That meant you hand over the reins of your life to me and I will take it absolutely straight towards your salvation. Then he said, जब जुत्ती बाहर लांदे हो, तो अपनी intelligence भी बुए तो बाहर लाके आया करो. इत्थे उदा कोई काम नहीं है. इत्थे कुछ scientific नहीं चल रहा. इत्थे सिर्फ मेरी blessings चल दियां ने. Then I was also told, surrender to me. He used the English word surrender. And by surrender, he meant that I was to surrender everything that I had to him at his feet. जब आप गुरु धारण करते हैं, जब आप गुरु के पास जाते हैं, तो आप फिर गुरु में इतनी आस्था बनाएंगे कि वो जो भी कहें आप मानेंगे. Because a guru always does what he thinks is best for you, not what you think is right for you. And how it happens today, in spite of we not looking at a physical presence, he is in spirit, which he had stated earlier. पहले भी मैं, हुन भी मैं, ते बाद विच भी मैं. इत्थे कोई गद्दी नहीं चलती, इत्थे मैं ही हूँ. Everything is his ruhani, his spirit form. And in that spirit form, he's blessing people left, right and center. It did not matter to him which religion the people who came at his feet belonged to. It did not matter to him which particular caste that they belonged to. It did not matter to Guruji at all. Because these were very frivolous things in front of him. These were nothing in front of him. My children were also blessed by Guruji. And we did not even have to ask. Because one day he just told my son, after my son had finished his class 12 and he was bowing in front of Guruji, he said, MBA not for you, because my son was just thinking in the car before he got out of it that I'm going to go tell Guruji, I'm going to do MBA and I'm going to join my father's business. Incidentally, he was the only male child in the family, so we thought, yes, he would do the father's business. Well, he just bowed and Guruji said, MBA not for you, you do law. And then he looks at me and he says, "Ainu bada top the vakil banana." And today he's a lawyer. My daughter was also blessed, and they are all, thanks to Guruji, in their happy spaces. गुरु जब ब्लेस करता है, वो आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन से ज़्यादा ब्लेस करता है, और आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन जितनी होती है, गुरु को सब पता होता है. Guruji never sat and gave sermons, but yes, I have witnessed those times when Guruji would be sending off most of the Sangat home, and then he would be left with a handful, and he would just start saying certain things. Once he just told us, he said, "Insan kis kamda, insan kisi kamda nahi. जानवर ते मर के भी काम आ जाते ने, उन्होंने जुत्ते बन जाते ने, बेल्ट बन जाती है, बटुए बन जाते ने, खान दे भी काम आ जाते ने, लेकिन इंसान किस कम दा, मर के ते हो किसी." Then once he just told me, he said, "जद प्रसाद खांदे हो, लंगर खांदे हो, ते डॉक्टरी इलाज नहीं छड़ना." That gave a lot of confidence that yes, Guruji is blessing the doctors as well. Well, it does not matter whether the doctor concerned believed in Guruji or did not, because they are of a scientific bent of mind, and rightfully so. They have to do their job. They have to do whatever they are supposed to do. Guruji's entire persona is on a different level. It is such that we are associated with something which is absolutely on a very, very different level than the human life that we are experiencing right now. Was told that she had a very high count of diabetes. And Guruji just told me, मैं कदों कहना है कि she would not go so far to Jalandhar to meet him or bow at his feet, because frankly at that time she did not believe. And the whole family, we were all, and we still are, Shirdi Sai Bhakts. Guruji never broke anybody's astha in any belief that they had. So it was not as if once you have come into a Guru Sharan and you only believe in him. No, you were allowed to believe anything that you wanted to. So my mother was blessed and kept afloat for many, many years by Guruji. And once she was holding a report, suspected tuberculosis of the small intestine and rectum colon cancer. And she went to Guruji and she had her chai prasad, then she had her langar, and the next day all the reports came out clear. The doctor was also very baffled but very pleased for his patient as to where everything vanished. Once I was told, "Je main tenu dassanga, tenu kiye, tere पैरां तले ज़मीन खिसक जाएगी." I had seen so much, I just told him, "Ji mainu dasna na." So he said, 5 years. I give you 5 years of no darshan. Na tu kisi nu dassengi, na tu mere kol aayenge, na tu mere naal gal karengi. So I just folded my hands there in front of Guruji and I said, "Guruji, मैनू पता है तुसी सब कुछ ठीक कर सकते हो, तुसी मैनू बस क्योर कर देना, मैनू पता भी करन दी कोई लोड़ नहीं है, I don't want to know." 5 years passed and after 5 years I just told him in my mind, I said, "Guruji, मैनू बड़ा दिल करदा है जी तुहाडे दर्शन करन ले, मैं किसी कोलों मंगांगी नहीं, कुछ भी करके तुसी एक फोटो मैनू दियो." Because I was waiting for his hukam. My husband used to take only one magazine and in that one magazine came Guruji's photo. ना उससे पहले ना उसके बाद कभी भी किसी मैगजीन में भी गुरुजी की कोई फोटो आई नहीं. वो मैंने पन्ना निकाल के बेड साइड ड्रॉर में रख लिया और उसके बाद एक दिन मेरा सांस उखड़ गया. मैं अपने काम से स्कूल से आई दोपहर को और बिल्कुल मैं सांस ले नहीं पा रही थी ढंग से. मैंने सिर्फ वो फोटो निकाली और इतना कहा, "गुरुजी, मैंने साह नहीं आ गया." बड़ी अजीब सी एक सेंसेशन हुई मेरी गर्दन के पीछे और ऐसे लगा जैसे किसी ने मुझे सांस दिया. एक फॉर्मेलिटी के तौर पे मुझे अस्पताल ले जाया गया. वहाँ ऑक्सीजन मास्क था मेरे नाक के ऊपर और मैंने नर्स से इशारे से पूछा, "मैं कहाँ हूँ?" तो शी सेड, "ICCU." मन में एक ख्याल आया कि जब मेरा अंत आया, ना मेरा घर वाला काम आया, ना मेरे माँ प्यो, ना मेरे बच्चे, ना कोई और, सिर्फ मेरा गुरु काम आया. Guruji used to affectionately call my husband "Tera Gharwala." So that same train of thought was going in the mind. I had called him. He could not get away from work in that traffic on time, and neither could my parents. My mother-in-law was no more. I was told later that my daughter had ran to the neighbors to get help. And my son had run to the nearest hospital to get an oxygen cylinder, which they didn't give him. Well, when I was standing in front of Guruji and he was distributing prasad, जब मेरी बारी आई तो मुझे कहते हैं, "क्यों फिर ना घर वाला काम आया, ना माँ प्यो, ना बच्चे, ना कोई हो, तेरा गुरु काम आया, ले तेरी second life तू ऐश कर." Ash is again not to be equated with anything materialistic. Ash ये सांस है जो मैं ले सकती हूँ, ये सांस है जो मेरे गुरु की देन है. ये प्रसाद उन्होंने मुझे दिया और गुरुजी अपने भक्त को कभी भी निराश नहीं करते, provided you are not asking for something which is incorrect. Because it does not work this way. What I have experienced, I'm sharing with you. It does not work this way that so many people who are in his fold can just ask for anything and expect to be given that and get away with it when it's incorrect. He will not. कोई भी गुरु इस धरती पे गलत इंसान की बाह नहीं पकड़े. So Guruji is very, very clear on one point, that we have to go absolutely straight. Because Guruji की अपनी ही एक रूहानियत है, उनके अपने ही रूल्स हैं जो उन्होंने सेट करे। लंगर के बारे में गुरुजी ने खुद बताया था कि चाय प्रसाद और लंगर ये मेरे प्रोसेस का भाग है। एंड ही यूज्ड टू से कि जब मेरी सभा लगती है वो एक प्रोसेस है, वो प्रोसेस चलता है। उसमें आपको चाय प्रसाद के साथ कोई स्नैक्स नहीं दिए जाते थे, और बाद में जब प्रेयर सर्विस हो जाती थी, शबद गुरबानी लगती थी, उसके बाद आपको लंगर सर्व होता था, जिसमें ज्यादातर एक दाल, एक सब्जी, 2 रोटी, एक मीठा। He always used to say, प्रसाद इच पहले मिठा रखी दा। So those were the things that Guruji had set for us, and one was always to sit in roshni, light. Whether it was day, or whether it was night, or whether it was evening, हमेशा जहां गुरु बैठते थे वो जगह हमेशा रोशन होती थी। ना ही उनकी गद्दी, लेकिन जहां संगत बैठती थी वहां पे भी। ये गुरु जी का हुक्म था। जब हमारे घर आए तो उन्होंने पहले ही पूछ लिया था कि जहां मुझे बिठाएगी वहां रोशनी है? मैंने कहा हाँ जी है। जहां संगत बैठेगी वहां रोशनी है? मैंने कहा हाँ जी है। दीवारों पे भी है? मैंने कहा हाँ जी है। What he meant was कि चारों तरफ रोशनी है कि नहीं। So ये उन्हीं की बताई हुई बात है। He used to say that मेरे ब्लेस करने के तरीके बतेरे हैं। कितने तरीके ऐसे हैं जो मैं लोगों को ब्लेस कर जाता हूं और उनको पता भी नहीं चलता। वो गुरु ही क्या जो 10 के, जो बता के कल्याण करे। मैं गुप्त कल्याण कर जाना। मेरे बतेरे तरीका विचों एक ए भी है, जो बोलदा है उदा भी भला, जो सुनदा है उदा भी भला। दोनों तरफ मेरी ब्लेसिंग्स चल रही होती है और वो पता करना तुम्हारा काम नहीं। तो these which a संगत member narrates to anybody, these are not to be termed as stories. ये stories नहीं है, ये experiences उनकी जिंदगी के हैं। ये गुरु की blessings हैं। वो ब्लेसिंग्स गुरु ने खुद बोला कि बताना है तो हम बताते हैं। Otherwise nobody would tell you anything which transpired in their lives. And it was only very lately, when the whole world was in an upheaval, that these sangats started happening and people were relayed all that transpired with those bhakts. Everybody who has related the संगत, जो गुरुजी आज के सत्संग को बोला करते थे संगत करना, जो हम संगत करते हैं वो गुरु के हुक्म से करते हैं, और वो गुरु ने इतनी ब्लेसिंग्स दी हैं और उन्होंने उस जमाने में भी बताने को कहा तो वो बताई जाती हैं। So this only Guruji knew how one is blessed. He said, ओ पता करना तुहाडा काम नहीं, तुसी अपनी ब्लेसिंग्स लो। Once I was told कि समय किसी का इंतजार नहीं करता, मीनिंग जो चीज मुझे करनी थी और जो चीज मुझे करनी चाहिए वो मैं जल्द से जल्द कर डालूं, क्योंकि वक्त रुकता नहीं। एंड वक्त के बारे में उन्होंने ये बताया कि अपना समय हमेशा वधा के दसना चाहिए, पौने ना कहो। Like he gave it as an example to us. पौने 9 ना कहो, 8:45 कहो. Meaning don't say 8:45, say 8:45. So it is, you're increasing the time. I did not ever have the guts to question him, so I could not ask why. गुरुजी के बहुत प्यारे एक शब्द मुझे याद हैं, पुछीदा नहीं कम पुट्ठा हो जाता है। मीनिंग पूछते नहीं। तो गुरुजी से पूछना तो कुछ था ही नहीं। जब भी कुछ अगर आपके दिमाग में भी चल रहा होता था, कई बारी तो वो खुद ही उस चीज को सामने ले आते थे, और तब अगर वो परमिशन देते थे तो डर डर के ये बोला जाता था कि जी one wants to say something, if one got permission, only then one could relay कि आपके मन में क्या चल रहा है, अगर वो इजाजत देते। कैसे उन्होंने कल्याण करे इतनी जनता के, ये सिर्फ गुरुजी को पता है। कभी कभी वो बयान इस तरीके से करते थे, अगर उनकी मौज होती थी, चल हुन दूजी वारी लंगर खा, ऐस वारी अपने माँ प्यो ले खा। So he would then say why you were having the langar the second time. Otherwise one would never know why we were given a second time. I was once told कि ये जो बर्थ स्टोन लोग पहन लेते हैं ना अपनी खुशहाली के लिए, तो क्या पता वो प्रॉस्पेरिटी तो लाए ना, लेकिन मरण दिन नेड़े ले आए। तो मैंने हाथ जोड़ दिया और मैंने बोला जी मैं, मेरे हस्बैंड और मेरे बच्चे, हम लोग ये नहीं पहनते। और मैं जनरल गल कर रहे हैं तो बट पंता दे चक्रा विच नहीं पहनना चाहिए। Then again I folded my hands. I said जी मैं कोई पंडित के पास नहीं जाती। What he meant was any kind of astrologer, and he explained, not all astrologers, I would like to add over here. He said अगर कोई ऐसा टकर गया जिसको पूरा ज्ञान नहीं है, वो ते पुट्ठे पासे पा देगा, फिर की करोगे? So that was what I was told, and then I said, Guruji, मैं एहो जे किसी बंदे दे कोल नहीं जानती, ओ हो मैं जनरल गल कर रहे हैं। So again that was put generally. So once again going back to the time when we were new, he was telling people who were coming forth and asking him in the Jalandhar Mandir कि कौन सा पाठ करूं जी। एक को बोला गीता का पाठ कर ले, एक को बोला सुखमनी साहब कर ले, एक को बोला शिव पुराण पढ़ ले। मैंने सोचा कि यहाँ ऐसे ही पूछते होंगे, ऐसी सारी लेडीज पूछ रही हैं। तो जब सारी उठ के अंदर चली गई, क्योंकि बरामदे में बैठे थे गुरुजी, तो मैं भी थोड़ा सा आगे हुई और मैंने कहा मैं भी पूछ लेती हूँ, यहाँ पूछते हैं शायद। मैंने कहा जी मैं केड़ा पाठ करा। So he just looks at me and he says, सवेरे उठनी है, बच्चा नू स्कूल ले तैयार करनी है, ए करते रहिए अपना पाठ। और केड़ा पाठ होता है? सिर्फ किताबी पाठ नहीं होता। And when my children grew up, then he said, शिव पुराण पढ़ लेता कर। So it is not so much, I believe, as understanding that at first for a novice like me. It is more of a belief that my Guru has told me this, and my Guru has asked me or ordered me to read it, so I read it. वो मुझे पता है कि हर पन्ना जो मैं पढ़ रही हूँ वो मेरी blessing है, क्योंकि ये मेरे गुरु ने बताया। Once my husband and I were called to his room, and he said, Om Namah Shivaya, शिवजी सदा सहाय, ऐ क्या करो ते शिव ओ मैं हाँ। And for a moment I was taken aback. I was just thinking कि ये अपने आप को शिव कैसे बता रहे हैं। लेकिन जब गुरु ने पर्दे हटाए, कोई 1% भी डाउट नहीं रह गया कि ये कौन है, क्योंकि वो उनकी रजा से ही उन्होंने वो पर्दा हटाया और हम इंसानों को ये दिखाया। मैं अपने हस्बैंड और अपनी बात कर रही हूँ कि वो परमात्मा का एक अंश धरती पे आए हैं लोगों के कल्याण के लिए। एंड आफ्टर he just showed us that glimpse, उसके बाद तो कुछ इधर उधर की बात या फजूल बात या कुछ भी मजाक में बोली हुई बात, we could not open our mouths with him at all. अगर वो कुछ बोल भी रहे होते थे तो इतनी हिम्मत नहीं होती थी कि आगे से उस चीज का जवाब दे दें हम। मेरे हस्बैंड और मैं बिल्कुल आगे से चुप होते थे। कई बार वो मजाक भी करते थे तो उसके आगे भी हम लोग कुछ नहीं बोलते थे, because you did not know whether he's testing you or whether he's saying something and waiting to see कि आप आगे से क्या बोलते हैं। So उनका स्टैचर इतना ऊंचा है कि उनके आगे हम इंसान की तो कोई गिनती है ही नहीं। एंड एक बार उन्होंने बोल भी दिया था, बिल्कुल कीड़े मकोड़े वर्गन दिखते हो मैनू। So whatever that meant. Guruji is very much present in the spirit form today. And I was told, Ja America hoya. And I said, Guruji, aap yahan ho, main wahan jaake kya karungi? Mujhe nahi jana. Before he took Samadhi, the last that I met him, he again stated it. Visa lagwa le te America hoya. And I was really feeling that mere Guru ne mujhe hukum diya, I must complete it. So at that time, I came. And at that time, I was having a very difficult kind of a hip joint pain. It was again very excruciating. I was having my medication when I was getting all my tests done. When I first landed on this American soil, one side pain vanished. And I'm talking about when I got off the plane, literally, it vanished. Then it so happened that I was invited somewhere to have langar. And after I had that langar, the other side pain also vanished. Why he sent me, he knew. I was not truly understanding as to why he's again and again telling me the same thing. But उसमें मेरा ही उन्होंने कल्याण किया. So face value पे बोली हुई कोई भी बात गुरुजी का हमेशा एक अलग ही अंडरटोन चलता है. उनकी अलग ही अपनी एक रूहानियत की एक दुनिया है. I was told once, लाल क्रीम ते काला ऐ सब तो पॉजिटिव कलर्स है ने यूनिवर्स दे. गुड़ नीला नहीं पाना चाहिए. Negativity te confusion karda hai paan wale ne. So I just said, Guruji, eh tusi mere vaste, mere parivar vaste keh rahe ho? So he said, jo sun le oda pala.
Can you translate?
Then I took all the other shades I had. I took the turquoise. I took, when I say navy, I mean a very dark colored blue, which is akin to black. That is, in my language, that particular shade. The dark blue is good, he said. Then he just showed me one day in the market and he said, this color, it was like an electric blue. He said, no, this is not good. When worn, absolutely plain. So here and there, like cheetahs, it was okay. But this is what we were told. When we started throwing away everything, whatever we had of that color, and he said, Kisi nu de na. So to them. So we cut it and we threw it. Then I asked Guruji, I said, Guruji, my children wear jeans. So he said, wote phityawa rang hunda hai, oni mein kya. So again, like all the things which we had to ask, we used to take permission from him. And then when he would say yes, then we would go forth and ask, and he would give a very appropriate answer. And it was always that कि अगर गुरु कोई जवाब दे देते हैं तो उसके बाद आप दोबारा नहीं वो पूछ सकते कि जी आपने वो जवाब ना मेरे हिसाब से नहीं दिया तो मैं आपको एक बारी और पूछ लूँ. No, it was not like that. वो बोलते थे तो वो एक ही बारी बोलते थे जो उन्होंने बोलना था. आगे जिसने सुना वो हम भक्त की मर्जी थी कि जो गुरुजी बता रहे हैं. तो I think most of the time तो नहीं, मैं 100% ही कहूँगी कि जो उन्होंने बोला we followed and yes, उसमें हमारा ही कल्याण हुआ. So गुरुजी के लिए कुछ भी असंभव नहीं. He had said कि जो बीमारियां हैं, जो आपकी परेशानियां हैं, आप मांग सकते हैं. वो मांगने की गिनती में नहीं आता. Because when I asked Guruji कि गुरुजी मैं तो अपने माँ बाप के लिए, बच्चे के लिए, अपनी सेहत के लिए मैं आपसे मांगती ही रहती हूँ, तो मैंने सुना है कि जी मांगना नहीं चाहिए. He said, ऐ मंगना नहीं होंदा, ऐदे वास्ते ते मैं हाँ मंगना होंदा है materialism. So when you ask for a materialistic thing, everybody in life needs materialism to carry on.
बट ही हैड स्टेटेड कि जे मेरे उत्ते छड़ दोगे तो मैं अगे दा पूरा देख के तुहानू देना. So he had said that you should not ask according to your choice, according to your need, because you don't know whether that need is sufficient, and you're not going to ask again. But if left to the Guru, he would bless multifold and it would just come in your lap automatically. So Guruji की एक एक बात हमारे लिए हर टाइम सही बैठी, और जो चीज एक इंसान की नजर से आती है कि ये बोला था लेकिन ये तो हुआ नहीं, लेकिन उसमें 10 और चीजें छुपी हुई थी जो अगर वो पहले दिखा देते तो शायद बर्दाश्त ना होता. तो वी आर वेरी ग्लैड, बोथ माई हस्बैंड एंड आई, दैट whatever he told us we did, because जो पूर्ति होके सामने आया उसमें भी भला, और जो पूर्ति ना होके कुछ नजर नहीं आया कि वो क्या ठीक हुआ, और वो बहुत कुछ था. And we are so grateful that had he wanted he could have just, you know, वो सब कुछ बोल सकते थे, सब कुछ कह सकते थे, but he is a very kind guru, a very kind guru, जो आपका मार्गदर्शन आज भी कर रहे हैं और आगे भी करते रहेंगे. The only thing you have to do is, I will use the word, cultivate a faith, because हम सब इंसान हैं. Immediately faith नहीं आता, क्योंकि जब तक इंसान के लिए कुछ किया ना जाए तब तक वो फेथ आता नहीं, और वो फेथ डामाडोल होने से आपने खुद बचाना है. क्योंकि जिंदगी में मौके आते चले जाएंगे कि आप गुरु को पॉइंट ए कह रहे हैं और गुरु पॉइंट सी कर रहे हैं, तो आप यही सोचेंगे कि ये जो हम मांग रहे हैं वो क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, हम जो दिमाग में सोच रहे हैं वो क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. वो होना ना होना उनकी रजा है, वो किस समय पे होना वो भी गुरु की रजा है, और उस चीज को शायद रोक के कुछ और देना वो भी गुरु की रजा है. So he always stated, and I was taken aside specifically one day and told this, which I will share with you. जे विश्वास है ते सब कुछ है, जे विश्वास नहीं ते कुछ नहीं. So वो विश्वास, तभी मैंने बोला कल्टिवेट करना है, उस विश्वास को बनाए रखना है कि अगर मैंने इस गुरु पे विश्वास किया तो ये हमेशा मेरा भला ही चाहेंगे, ये और कुछ होने ही नहीं देंगे. He is like a protective shield. अगर आप सही हैं, क्योंकि आपकी आत्मा जानती है कि आप सही हैं कि नहीं हैं, और अगर आपकी आत्मा ये गवाही दे रही है कि आप सही हैं, तो फिर डरना क्या और फिर किसी चीज से घबराना क्या, क्योंकि गुरु साथ है. तो जब गुरु साथ है, गुरु ही आपका मार्गदर्शन कर रहे हैं. He is the one who's taking you forth in life. It's not easy. He had told me life is not easy. And then I was also told कि blessings, full blessings हैं जब आप नाम जप रहे होते हैं, जब आप गुरु को याद कर रहे होते हैं. क्योंकि जैसे ही आप गुरु की बताई हुई एक गुरु की जो देन है, जो दीक्षा है गुरु की, गुरु का जाप है, और जब आप वो जपते हैं गुरु को आना ही होता है, उनकी शक्ति चालू हो जाती है. आप उसको बोल रहे हैं तो गुरुजी ने ये बताया था कि जब जबान जाप करती है तो वो जाप अभी आगे चलना है, और जब जबान से नहीं दिमाग से जाप चालू तो सोच लेना कि असल जाप चालू. सो दैट दिमाग से आपका जो जाप है वो है जब आप सबकॉन्शियसली भी वो जाप बोलते रहेंगे. आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, लेकिन वो इतना इनग्रेन हो चुका होगा, यू विल बी सो अट्यून टू द गुरु दैट सबकॉन्शियसली आप वो जाप करते रहेंगे. इट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर इन योर माइंड. Just have that complete faith that he's very much there. He's doing good for humanity and he's continuously there doing good for everybody. Thank you for listening. Jai Guruji.